The message blinked on her phone. "Roses are red, violets are blue, meet me outside, I'm waiting for you." It was a simple message, yet it carried so much weight. She had been waiting for this moment, hoping for a sign, and now it was finally here. A smile stretched across her face. It was Valentine's Day, a day she had always found magical, filled with love and surprises. And today, it seemed, was her turn to be surprised, and a secret admirer had finally decided to reveal themselves. She had always wondered who it could be, and now the mystery was about to be solved. Her heart pounded with anticipation. The excitement was almost too much to bear. She could feel the adrenaline coursing through her veins. She quickly grabbed her coat, her mind racing with possibilities. Who could it be? A friend, a colleague, or perhaps someone she had never even noticed. Excited to meet her mysterious Valentine, she stepped outside, her breath visible in the cool night air. The night air was crisp and cool against her skin. It felt refreshing, almost as if the world was welcoming her into this new adventure. A light fog hung in the air, adding a touch of mystery to the night. It was the perfect setting for a romantic encounter, blurring the streetlights in a romantic haze. She stepped outside, her heart beating faster with each step, her eyes scanning the sidewalk, searching for any sign of her admirer. The fog made it difficult to see, but she was determined to find them, searching for any sign of her admirer. Where were they hiding? The anticipation was exhilarating, making her feel more alive than ever, a thrill running through her veins. She knew that this night would be one to remember, no matter what happened next. From a distance, she could see a shadowy figure, partially obscured by the fog, holding a bouquet of roses. The sight sent a shiver down her spine, adding to the mystery and suspense of the night. The street was empty, shrouded in a thick fog that seemed to swallow every sound. The dim streetlights cast eerie shadows, making the silence even more profound. Disappointment pricked at her excitement. She had been looking forward to this moment, but now, standing alone, she felt a pang of regret. Had she misread the message? She scrolled through her phone, her fingers trembling slightly. She checked her phone again, but the message was clear. "Meet me outside," it read. The words seemed to mock her now. Doubt crept in, a shiver running down her spine despite the mild weather. She wrapped her arms around herself, trying to ward off the growing chill. The silence was unsettling, broken only by the distant hum of traffic. It felt as if the world had paused, leaving her in a bubble of isolation. Another message popped up. "Look around, I'm closer than you think." Her heart skipped a beat. Her heart pounded in her chest, each beat echoing in the stillness of the night. She could feel the adrenaline coursing through her veins. She spun around, searching for any movement, any sign of life in the fog-choked darkness. The shadows seemed to dance, playing tricks on her eyes. Her breath quickened, fogging in the cold air. Each exhale was a visible reminder of her growing anxiety. A sense of unease settled over her, heavier than the fog. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, that something or someone was lurking just out of sight. Her phone buzzed again. "You look beautiful tonight." The message was unexpected, and it sent a shiver down her spine. She glanced around, the dim light casting eerie shadows on the walls. Who could be sending these messages at this hour? Fear coiled in her stomach. Her hands began to tremble, and she could feel her heartbeat quicken. The room felt colder, and the silence was deafening. She tried to steady her breathing, but the fear was overwhelming. Someone was watching her, but who? And where were they? The fog outside her window seemed thicker, more menacing. Every shadow felt like it was hiding a secret, every creak of the floorboards a potential threat. She clutched her phone tightly, her knuckles turning white. The device felt like her only lifeline, a fragile connection to the outside world. She wanted to call someone, anyone, but who would believe her? Her eyes darted around, trying to pierce the veil of fog, searching for her stalker. The fog seemed to swallow everything, making it impossible to see more than a few feet ahead. She felt trapped, isolated in her own home. "Don't worry," the next message read. "This won't hurt a bit." Her blood ran cold. The words were like ice, freezing her in place. She could almost hear the sinister whisper behind them, a promise of something terrible. This wasn't a harmless admirer, this was something sinister. The realization hit her like a punch to the gut. She was being hunted, and the hunter was getting closer. Panic welled up inside her, threatening to overwhelm her. She could feel it rising, a tidal wave of terror that threatened to drown her. She needed to move, to do something, but her body wouldn't respond. She turned to run back inside, but her feet felt rooted to the spot. It was as if the ground itself was holding her in place, refusing to let her escape. She was trapped, and the darkness was closing in. A cold breeze whispered past her ear, carrying with it a low, guttural voice. "Looking for me?" She whirled around, her eyes wide with terror, but there was no one there. Just the empty street, the swirling fog, and her own reflection in a nearby shop window. But her reflection wasn't alone. Standing behind her, a dark figure materialized from the fog. Its eyes, two burning embers, stared directly at her, a chilling smile spreading across its face. A raspy voice, barely audible above the pounding of her heart, whispered again, "Happy Valentine's Day."